Childhood friend doesn't know my son is named after him and has been avoiding telling him. So I grew up in a terrible home, and one of the only people who I actually looked up to and who treated me nicely was the older boy next door who would watch me when my parents were busy. A lot of my better childhood memories come from spending time at his house. He introduced me to a lot of music, movies, games that shaped my taste and gave me my current hobbies, and I remember him very fondly. My dad got a job in the city when I was 12, we left my hometown, and I haven't seen him since. 6 years later, I left home and had a child. I didn't originally mean to name my son after anyone I knew personally, but when I was coming up with potential baby names, I remembered that friend, how much I liked him, and thought his name was a good one for a boy. It ended up being the only name I liked that my son's mom also approved of, so he now shares a name with my old babysitter. Fast forward another 12 years to present. I get a friend request from that friend on Facebook. We're still in the same county, and he mostly works from home, but comes to my city every now and then. He offered to get lunch sometime and catch up, and I don't know how I'm supposed to tell him I have a preteen named after him without it sounding weird. Like, how would you react if some child you looked after when you were a teenager and who you've not spoken to in over 18 years grew up and named their son after you? I think made it worse by avoiding the topic altogether over text. I've only called my son by his nickname when talking about him, and I don't know if it sounds kind of like I lied or hid it from him if I tell him now at this point. I thought I had finally become a secure, normal adult who can manage my anxiety, but here I am now, stressing. God help me. Top comments. Comment 1. Just tell him the truth. It will be good for both of you, and it will be nice to have this conversation in real life, so don't feel weird about not addressing it over text. Tell him that when you found out you were going to be a father, you remembered his name and thought it would be a good one for your child. The positive association of his friendship just made it a more appealing choice. Tell him you are grateful for the positive impact he has had on your life and that the name has served your child well. Frame it as your friend being the inspiration for your son's name. You don't have to say, "I named him after you" explicitly, and focus on the positive. It may feel a little bit awkward, but this is a lovely opportunity to reconnect with an important figure in your life. And it will probably be really special to him that he now shares a name with your son. Comment 2. I work as a nanny, and anytime I hear from a child I used to care for and they remember me and the love is still there, it is one of the most rewarding things of the job. I know he wasn't exactly a professional childcare worker, but I'm sure the sentiment would be the same. He clearly cared about you very much as a child, and him reaching out shows he still does, and would most likely see it as a great honor. Comment 3. Personally, I'd be flattered as all get out. Have lunch with your old friend, and make a point of telling him, "I was embarrassed to tell you this via text, so I want to tell you in person. I don't think you ever knew how much you did for me when I was a kid. Things were pretty lousy at home, and you provided me with guidance, love, and a sounding board. So many things I didn't have at home. Your presence led me to be the success I am today." My son's nickname is Tater, but his actual name is Timothy, or whatever. Comment 4. I went out to drinks with a friend of mine. We were chatting away when some lady came up and asked her if she was a Sally that her brother had freshman year nearly 15 years ago. When my friend said yes, she was enveloped in the biggest squeeze ever. The lady said my friend saved her brother's life. She said that my friend was the only person who was kind to her brother, and she remembers her after all this time and is so grateful for her. She got her name, number, and other contact info. My friend has said that is still one of the best days of her life. Comment 5. I would cry because I would be so happy that I made such a difference in a young person's life that they fought to do something like that. I'm a woman who grew up pretty much without parents, and there are a couple adults that I still remember super fondly, even though I'm 50 years old now. Like my elementary school best friend's mom, or my mom's friend who was our neighbor, who used to let me in for hot chocolate when my mom wouldn't be home when I got off the school bus. If I ever saw them again, I would hug them and tell them I still remember them and how much I love that they helped me when I was a kid. I was able to tell my best friend's mom later on in life because we were still friends.